Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogwell333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order Last Days Europe as Amur. Now, in the last video, I believe we secured our border over here in Outer Manchuria. We're dealing with a little issue with Korean communists right now, but we'll figure that out, maybe, hopefully. I do not know yet. But until then, I'm getting my timer going. Should have more ready for when I was starting, but you know, stuff happens. And here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get working on. Let's move into this. Why not? And while we're here, I think I start working on some economic stuff. So you might as well while we're here. Let's do class collaboration. One of the most important tenets of fascism is promoting class cooperation. That is, in contrast to the detestable practices of communists who attempt to stoke class conflict and liquidate those who they deem to be undesirable. Instead of attempting the insurmountable, we should promote class cooperation between all, from the lowest of the low to the lowest himself. It matters not if you're a rural peasant struggling with literacy, or an industrial magnate who's heating his home. And his home reminds him of his time spent in Harbin. All should be working together towards a single goal, the goal of cooperating with one another and bridging the gap between socio-economic divides. The Tsars ignored the divide, and the Soviet failed in trying to eliminate the divides by killing the other classes. Clearly, the only way forward is to ensure seamless cooperation among the classes. It's interesting, I guess. I've started uploading this series since the last time that I've recorded, which it's been a little bit. We'll work on improving our healthcare network. We kind of need improvement in our healthcare network. And it's gone okay-ish so far. The first episode was demonetized, which I'm not surprised at all. The rest of the videos have not been, though, which so far I have been a little surprised about. I've only uploaded parts 1 through 5. I'm recording on Monday, actually. I was supposed to upload videos today, but I was tired as heck when I got home today. And as a result, or yesterday, as a result, here I am, recording, and not having an upload today. Still got to catch up on the rest of these uploads, though, so, you know, I'll be okay. Let's go ahead and focus on the worker. The factories within our nation are not ideal. It involves these other, less professional words to refer to their state, and he's not incorrect. We've done a lot and worked towards the ultimate goal of a paradise for our workers. However, lots of work still has to be done to improve the factories and equipment within them for the worker. Class cooperation is necessary. There's no more important class to get on our side than those who seem to slave away in the industrial centers of our nation day and night to create the very finished goods that are necessary for the barest function of civilized living. The workers are the ones who start the first revolution and the second. There will be no third, so long as we ensure that they are on our side from the get-go. And to do so, we can improve their working condition and equipment, perhaps with Japanese assistance. Yeah, why not? Worth a shot. Have the all-Russian Navy coming along. Barely expand the port of Magadan. Yeah, why not? It wasn't often the one saw striking the all-Russian government. Many bought the Vaz's promise of class cooperation and fair representation for all true Russians. Others were simply content to have security and income, even the hours were demanding and the conditions harsh. The Free Union of Artisan Workers, illegally formed by 80 arms factory workers in the wake of their comrade being shot for failing to meet quota, was not numbered among them. They marched through Zaya's streets, the morning sun before them. Some citizens leaned out of the windows to cheer them on in defiance of the regime. A few, finding their courage, rallied to the red bed sheet held aloft on a stick that served as their banner. When the crowd arrived at the town hall, now bathed in the warm of its sun, it had swollen to over 200 individuals, buoyed along loft by group euphoria, chanting and singing for the liberation of the workers against all odds. They didn't see the armed black shirts stalking them through alleyways. They didn't hear the distinctive clack of Maxim guns being charged in windows all around them. Well, they did notice that the streets suddenly began to fill with the dead and dying, with the sudden heat and pain of a leaden swarm tearing into the strikers, snuffing out their hope like a fading candle. The sleep of a laboring man is sweat. So much for organizing, eh? That, didn't work well for you guys, now did it? Well, here we are. Our debt is starting to balloon a little bit. I wonder if there's anything we can do. First off, our poverty is still not doing well at all. But we're about to get to primary schooling, which is going to take part of % off there. Working towards improving our healthcare as much as we can. What does the rest of us do? Only so much we can really do right now, isn't there? Well... Eventually do a state fishing armada, which ought to help a little bit. Poverty reduction. Gonna try military austerity. And then do a tax hike. Does this reduce poverty at all? I'm curious. I'll check and see. It actually seems to do that. Yeah, so we'll just have to we'll keep this as high as we can, I think. Raise taxes, but if we can start lowering our poverty at least somewhat. Somehow. That's all I need. Doing our best to integrate Outer Manchuria, but the Kim family has given us a bit of a pain, bit of a headache there. If there's anything I can do to improve our poverty rate, not quite yet. Battle for Italy. Tikhon Nikolaev stumbled down the streets like a drunken man, a crowd of similar workers streaming in from factory doors. How long was it? 15, 16 hours? He lost track after what felt like a couple hours of overtime began. They were preparing to purify Russia, upper management said, and the factory and its workers needed to sacrifice as much as they could for the motherland in the coming weeks. So he spent his entire day and a good deal of a night supervising increasingly exhausted workers in their labor. He stared out at the darkened street, trying to remember which one was his, and summoning all the energy in his legs not to collapse there and then. After an eternity of walking, he got to his house near the edge of town. Stumbling into the door, he looked at the clock. 11:20 p.m. 17 hours of work. He needed a break. Creeping into the kitchen, he opened the pantry and took out a bottle of vodka and drank it straight from the bottle. How much more would he have to sacrifice for the motherland? How many more nights would be like this? How much would he see of his family? Everyone must do their part for the motherland. Oh god, that's going to worsen our poverty rate. It looks like it'll eventually come down here. How's our agriculture coming along? Because we might want to get working on that. Could use a little boost, so let's go ahead and help the farmer. Based on what territory we control at the moment, the farmer is not a sector of society that is overly numerous. But that's not to say that they won't be in the future once more arable land is secured, nor should they be small in number, and that they aren't as equally important as other members of society. The Russian man marches on Russian food, after all, and where would we be if we don't have any ladder? We can institute generous agricultural grants and cheap loans to incentivize Russians to start their own farms and encourage those who are currently struggling to pull through and continue their work. We cannot and will not allow those to our west to outpace our agricultural production based purely on the fact that their lands are more fertile than ours. We have the spirit of the Russian farmer on our side. Air parity, why not? Interesting. Don't entirely know what that means, but it's interesting. CRU is pushing through. There goes help for the farmer. Next we'll do the industrialist. The workers are the heart of a nation, and the farmers are the muscle and sinew. Certainly, the industrialists are the brains of a nation, keeping everything working in conjunction and ensuring that the people throughout society are well equipped for economic success and taken care of. The industrialists are the ones that are in charge of the well-being of our economy, below the laws, of course, but ultimately the ones who will not only stimulate the Russian economy, but drive it forward into the future. Thus, we need to give large government grants and legal concessions to these industrialists and the firms that they represent to ensure that we have taken care not just of the body, but the brain as well. While this may develop into a situation where a number of Russian megacorporations develop a strong hold on our economy, these megacorporations once propelled Germany into superpowerdom, and will do so again with Holy Russia. If you say so, buddy. Ooh, here we go. Do that. And we'll do that. Debt continues to rise, but what happened to the names over here? What? Oh, there we go. That weirded me out for a second, I'm not gonna lie. But here we go. Looks like we can continue to push stuff like that. Ooh, the IRA has stepped down. Very nice. Oh, fuck. Employ more new units. Go ahead, drop those guys there. Meanwhile, we'll go ahead. All's one for Holy Russia. Do we want to? Is there anything we can do to get political power? We'll over here. And we'll do this and we'll get working on that stuff over here. I have heard today that our people, the workers, the farmers, the industrials, and so on, have begun to take the first step towards working in harmony in a corporate system. Not just an economy, but a system where the Russian nation operates like human body, with heart, muscle, brains, and all the rest working in conjunction for both one another and for the good of a nation. We must not forget why we strive towards this. The Jew and the Bolsheviks seek to divide our nation. They encourage us to forget our purpose and destroy our God. Our uniting behind the common banner of economic harmony and ultimate unity in the face of desperate times will ensure not only the survival of the Russian people, but our thriving. Do not go about your work and livelihood with your head down and your hearts heavy. Remember why you work. We are forging a united Russia, one that is not burdened by strife. Remember always, we must work all as one for holy Russia, God, nation, and labor. Oh. CR has lost. A little interesting to see there. We'll get this guy in there. Get working on more convoys. Anything we can... Is there anything that we can do? Apparently we can. Oh God. Nothing we can do over here. We'll intensify repopulation efforts. My brave, brave Russians, all of you, who have suffered under the communists, the Jew, and the anarchy that they have caused, shall soon be released from your chains. As our movement sweeps westwards, our party numbers surge, as all true Russians seek to serve the cause. But splitters couldn't stop us, the communists couldn't stop us, the Jews won't stop us. The Russian people hunger for fascism, not as the Nazis delivered upon us with fire, steel, and blood, but a fascism for the people, not against them. And I intend to bring them just that, a system of harmonious class collaboration where all Russians work together for the betterment of their nation and their race. Remember now, and remember always, my people, for God, nation, and labor. Today the Vaz once again took the balcony, the same one that he used to announce the conquest of the splitters and czars, delivering a fiery, rousing speech to his people, both assembled below and across the radio waves. He promised the people the beginning of a new era of economic prosperity and the creation of what he calls class collaboration, closely modeling the Nazi economic system that Adolf Hitler created and nurtured decades before, which thus gave promise to expand mega corporations and promote the cooperation of lower, middle, and upper classes. While some international observers had markedly negative reactions to the Vaz's promises, comparing them to the beginnings of what would end up as the bloated corpse of the German economy, it seems that everyone within the all-Russian government, the Far East, is more than happy to go along with the Vaz's plans, with those who are once willing to speak out either having been purged long ago or simply too afraid to say publicly say otherwise. Well, only time will tell. Nice. Let's go ahead and do the new Russian society. The Russia that has been known for decades, the one of weakness, dominated by the communists and the Jews, no more. The true sons of Russia have bled and died to destroy this weak reality, sacrificing themselves to ensure that a national state is rebuilt in the vision of the one man brave enough to begin, organize, and lead the RFP to victory. The Vaz has announced the formalization of what he calls the new Russian society. He's published, among many other things, a guidebook for how any good fascist family should operate. The man at the head of the house, the woman at his heel, and their children educated and kept busy by the party. Of course, all true Russians will surely be more than willing to adopt this new society, for they offer resistance. Are they interested in nothing but dividing our nation further? It makes you think, doesn't it? I don't think we're ever going to get a handle on our poverty. You know, we're doing so now. We're so close and yet so far. Maybe if we eventually improve our healthcare system, we might be able to. Maybe. Do that, and then military base construction, I guess. I'll cancel these lines. We need to have some spare manpower, so I'll hold on to that. We'll do Winter Expert. The curtains had been drawn shut in the Vaz's office of Radzevsk. After a long day of speeches, meetings, tours, and dictates, a more lethargic man would be interested in kicking back, having a nice dinner and sleeping early. Constantine Radzevsky was anything but a lethargic man. Following a short dinner and copious amounts of the liquor that came with it, he secluded himself in his office, locking the door and drawing the curtains. Starting well into the evening and riding well into the crack of dawn, the Vaz of all Russians sat at his desk, drinking and writing madly. A man that throws a passion and inspiration. He was drafting one of his so-called magnum opuses. This one on what he viewed was the perfect and ideal Russian society, a new society, and one that he will impose on Russia for the good of her people. As his office's housekeeper came to serve him breakfast in the early hours of the morning, the Vaz, whose night had been fueled by a combination of liquor and caffeinated beverages, was finishing up his work. Delving into a hearty breakfast to temper the liquor on his oncoming hangover, Radzevsky looked over his work. It was 48 pages, single-spaced, and dealt with every single possible detail in his envisioned society, from the intensive use and integration of state-sponsored organizations like the Union of Fascist Little Ones and the Russian Women's Fascist Movement, to the in-depth outlining of the way in which households functioning, the man at the head of a household, of course, and the general militarization of society. Every aspect of what he believed to be the perfect society was tackled. Waving the thick manuscript around as he ate, he felt nothing but pride. Once he finished breakfast, he summoned Bolotov so he could show off his new work. A new society to drive Russia forwards. Truly. Well, let's do the Union of Fascist Little Ones. The children yearned for the mines. Once, many years ago, the RFP had a number of wings. Paramount among them was the Union of Fascist Little Ones. This organization, led and organized by the Blackshirts, was for the education and occupation of many Russian youth in Harbin through the rest of Manchuria. However, Zavad's foray into Russia proper, it had to be put on hold. But now, as Radzevsky works to consolidate his control of the Far East, his order not just restart the program, but extend it throughout all of the territory controlled by the party. Logistical complications aside, this will be nothing but useful for our state, as the planners behind it have already drawn out a number of physical projects and reality labor-intensive enterprises to build character and instill discipline. And if worse comes to worse, the Union will be handy mobilized in any potential wartime desperation. Oh no. What the fuck? Ah. Oh no. Well, time to bring child labor back. Okay, poverty relief programs. Let's at least get it decreasing somewhat, please. Africa bleeds. Let's get jet engines going. I don't even know if we have a anything going on in the way of Oh well, there's our manpower I was looking for. It's been a month Not since Fyodor had last seen his parents. A whole month filled with the kind of work that even his father could barely manage. At least Fyodor had all of his friends and the little ones to help. Well, mostly. He couldn't call all of them friends, and Anatoly the big black shirt there to protect him with his Japanese machine gun wasn't friendly at all. Fyodor didn't really get why they needed protecting in the first place. All the Jews in his town had been taken away and the fighting with the Reds was over, so why did Anatoly have to be there? All he did was bully them. At night they slept on thin mattresses with little more than rags to cover them. Even then, the pitch dark of their barracks, someone else watched them. Sometimes the door would creak open so that someone should shine a flashlight across the room and make sure none of them were huddled together for warmth. Such behavior bred degeneracy and femininity, their leader said. Every morning came the overseer, rousing them before dawn with the clamor of a brass bell. The racket always signaled the same thing, another 14 hours of splinters, bleeding fingers, broken toes, and the harsh blows of the overseer's truncheon. The Vols was right, thought Fyodor. The path of righteous labor was full of hardships. Kolya and Sasha had washed out already. Some of the others whispered about how the pair had tried to escape and were caught, but Fyodor knew the truth. They had failed their race, just like his little cousin Tyoma. They weren't real Russians, but I am, and I'll prove it. Well, this is actually increase our... I'll probably work on this real quick while I'm here. It's going to increase our costs, but I don't care anymore. Russia has much to be proud of, paramount of which, of course, is the military. The Russians are a long and glorious history, have a long and glorious history of martial success, and we are naturally of the glory of this Slavic conquest. Continuing this legacy, we must expand and modernize our armed forces to defeat the Zionist puppets to our west, and anyone else who would be audacious enough to dare challenge the Vols and his brave soldiers. New weapon designs, new tanks, planes, and ships, new logistical systems, of course, to make sure that the entire apparatus would remain connected and effective. Everything must be renovated and rejuvenated to make sure that the army, the pride of Russia, remains at the forefront of our shining concerns. Its transformation in the shining example of Radzevsky's militant National Socialism. State fishing armada. Help with our poverty. Reduce our poverty, rather, even more. Meanwhile, still waiting for this. I'm going to be fixed for military austerity. Now have some free units. Need some hospitals. One going into more. One there probably, and then actually use a hospital here. We'll rush the one in Magadan actually, because Magadan's our best province, it looks like. We'll pardon them? That doesn't seem right. But okay. Use some extra political power, so I think we'll head down to here. The Russian women's fascist movement. There's a reason that superstition is known as old wives' tales. There's nothing more dangerous than an idle woman left to her own devices whose overly active imagination will do nothing but generate rumors and ideological deviation. Well, it's indisputable that a woman's place is at the side of her man as the one who cares for the household. We should ensure that all of Russia, All the women of Russia are just as ideologically pure as their husbands. Thus, we best reactivate the Russian Women's Fascist Organization, an organization that promotes true and traditional values for women and quashes the dangerous sentiments that women should be anything more than homemakers. This movement, while strictly voluntary, will have local meetings where these women will not only be instructed in the role of society, but also the nuances of our doctrine as much as they could possibly understand it. Well, oh, it's beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye. Poverty rate that's actually starting to go down. Did they? What? Because that doesn't seem right. It says they won. Women of Russia, be not beguiled by the honeyed words promising liberation. The true woman, as conceived by God, no longer exists in the decadent West. She's been hanged with the rope of Judeo-Bolshevik feminism. Her successful, degenerate, liberated woman, the whore of Babylon. This wicked harlot thinks nothing of snuffing out unborn lives in her womb, and for what? That she might enrich herself with a career meant for her husband. Oh, but how rarely does she need one of those? Faithful monogamy is not for her. She is happier when she has an unending line of sinners with which to fornicate endlessly. Devoid of any morality, love, or faith, she ends her life as a ruined, dishonored, and drug-addicted Jezebel. Such is how the Jews would have you as well. To embrace Western feminism is to cast off all that makes a woman pure and godly. In Russia, we understand that God is a place for us all. For men, that place is on the front lines and in the factories. For you, blessed wives, sisters, and daughters and mothers, that place is in the safety of the home and church. You are empowered by the Lord to bear life anew. Only from your natural state can happiness spring, the joy of raising children, of welcoming your man home after a day's hard work, of finding comfort in the embrace of the masculine sex. Children, kitchen, church. Well, that's something, I guess. I think we'll do one more focus real quick. We're technically supposed to wrap it up starting here, but where is the fun of that? Anti-Semitism, call to action against the world's greatest and most dangerous enemy, intransigence against Jewry, and a program that establishes a system of guarantee against the penetration of the international community. These are, in our corrupted and entropic times, the main signs of our goodness and wisdom, and potential of any organization of movement that will be keen ensuring that the elders of Zion do not overtake those of good heart and mind. Arvaz has deemed it necessary and good to distribute his writings throughout the nation, publicizing them in his ABCs of Fascism. This work has been published and circulated for quite some time. However, Rosetsky has decreed that every man, woman, and child will have access to the work through the state distribution of his little brown books, which will be designed to be cheap to print and able to be distributed to all, from the urbanite factory worker to the most remote worker. It doesn't help that none of them can read, really, but what are you going to do? We'll go ahead and fortify Torah. Do something more here. Guess we'll do another Road to Bones. Which Amur, we already have that figured out. Amur could use some extra. I forget which the other one was. Yakutsk? Yeah, Yakutsk. It's not too bad, actually. Oh, here we go. Well, that is something to be celebrated. Probably the only thing worth celebrating nowadays in Russia. But more people can read. It's only going to be our propaganda they can read, but they can still read it. I think I understand better now. I thought it said Free France had won, but they clearly have not. Oh, I've read this one before, so pause if you want to read it. If not, don't worry about it. What's a mantle to do? I don't know what a man's to do, but I know what a fella's gonna do. He's gonna go ahead and end it here. Thanks for watching as always, my friends. If you like the video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content, feature the sub button for uploads weekdays as well as occasionally Saturdays. Having comments, feedback, and certainly leave a comment section below. I read all comments again and appreciate any feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, do anything of the sort, check out my Discord. If you want to see me just live, I have a Twitch. If you want to see me do some non-gamer linked stuff, I have a second channel. If you want to support financially, I have Patreon. All of which are in the description box below. That's really it for now, my friends. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been Mr. Dogboat333. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.